Here are the top stories for today, August 21, 2019. A DepEd official confirms reports that the New People's Army is recruiting students in northern Mindanao. The PNP cites the need to tighten its watch on foreign companies setting up near local vital facilities. The DOH reports a downtrend of dengue cases in Western Visayas, and the local government of Marawi City calls for change as it celebrates the city's Charter Day anniversary. Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story for today, the Department of Education in northern Mindanao confirms some schools in the region have been infiltrated by members of the New People's Army. According to DepEd Region 10 Information Officer Ramon Abrera Jr., they have received information that some students had been persuaded by the NPA to join its ranks. Abrera said DepEd is closely coordinating with the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, or NICA, to conduct information dissemination, especially in campuses where the NPA has been actively conducting recruitment activities. He said DepEd responded to reports of NPA recruitment activities by launching its Last Mile Schools program, aimed at addressing the gaps in resources and facilities of schools that are located in geographically isolated and disadvantaged and conflict-affected areas. DepEd has urged all government agencies to jointly plan and implement programs, projects, and activities to expedite the delivery of the needed services in schools in remote areas. And in apparent support against the recruitment of students by left-leaning groups, more netizens are backing the advocacy against Communist Front groups through Facebook. A graphics photo saying "hands off our children" is circulating in social media as more parents are using it as their Facebook profile picture. This is to show their support to the battle against Communist Front organizations. Netizens say they can relate with the pain felt by parents whose children are victims of deceptive recruitment of progressive organizations. Meanwhile, Colonel Noel Vistuer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines advised parents to know the friends and acquaintances of their children because recruiters could use the smallest misunderstandings with their family members to start a deep conversation. He says while the military is committed to educate students against deceptive recruitment, they can only do so much because of the militarization of schools concept, where leftist groups have been using the issue as propaganda to prevent information awareness campaigns. In other news, President Duterte joined Filipinos in commemorating the 36th death anniversary of the late Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. The president expressed hope that the occasion reminds Filipinos to safeguard freedom that was once lost under the rule of former President Ferdinand Marcos. In his message, the president cited Aquino's important role in restoring democracy in the country more than 3 decades ago. He also expressed hope that government workers would be inspired by the late senator to extend public service the same way he did. Aquino's death fueled protests which peaked during the EDSA People Power Revolution and succeeded in ending the Marcos regime. In Negros Oriental, the spate of killings involving elected government officials and other prominent personalities prompted the police regional office to form a task force that will closely supervise and monitor the incidents. PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde announced Tuesday that Police Regional Office 7 has created special investigation task groups that will monitor the 6 incidents such as the murder of attorney Trinidad, Professor Bayawa, former Mayor Enard Decido, City Councilor Halandoni, and Barangay Chairman Posadas. Albayalde also said out of 11 shooting incidents that transpired in different municipalities of Negros Oriental, 4 cases have already been solved and referred to the prosecutor's office of Dumaguete City. He adds manhunt operations were continuing for the arrest of 7 other identified suspects. The Philippine Ports Authority plans to put up an all-gender restroom in all seaport terminals and offices in a bid to promote gender sensitivity and inclusivity. PPA General Manager J. Daniel Santiago says the facility, which can accommodate 1 person at a time, can be used by anyone, regardless of gender. This comes after President Duterte said on Monday that he is considering the addition of the 3rd bathrooms in establishments for the LGBTQ+ community following his meeting with trans woman Gretchen Diaz. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Customs on Tuesday said it is strictly implementing a no-gift policy. According to Customs Commissioner Ray Leonardo Guerrero, the policy shows their commitment to reform themselves. Guerrero advised the public not to be sweet-talked by unscrupulous persons who are asking money from them in exchange for favors. And the Implementing Rules and Regulations, or IRR, of Republic Act 11360, or the Service Charge Law, may be released soon. Labor Chief Silvestre Bello III, they said they are given 90 days to craft their IRR, but they are hoping to come up with it as soon as possible so that workers in hotels and restaurants can finally receive reasonable incentives from their hard work and quality services. Under the law, all service charges shall be distributed completely and equally among the covered workers except managerial employees. The MRT free ride program of the Department of Transportation is currently being enjoyed by almost 50,000 students. As of August 20 this year, the DOTR said the total number of free rides on the MRT3 had reached 46,096. Free rides on the MRT3 may be availed of by students from Monday to Friday, excluding holidays, from 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. and from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Students who have not yet signed up may fill up the form at the DOTR Student Free Ride Program website. Personal applications are also accepted in malasakit help desks in MRT3 stations. Still to come, the PNP cites the need to tighten its watch on foreign companies setting up near local vital facilities. A town in Leyte calls on the military to drive away NPA rebels fleeing in their vicinity. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
We are honored today na kasama natin si Secretary Andanar. Ako ay natutuwa na dahil si Secretary yung chords natin, parang nangunguna ngayon yung Region 10 sa pag-i-implement natin ng mga programa para hindi lang mabawasan, kundi rin wakasan na talaga ang communist armed conflict dito sa ating region.
This is Secretary Martin Andanar, and you're watching.
As PCOO, with the vision of the Secretary Martin Andanar, I think the next 3 years, we will push for the legacy of the President, of President Duterte, and hopefully we leave the PCOO 3 years from now a much better state in concurrence with a much better Philippines than in 2016.
As Olive said earlier, I am Chords of Region 10, the Cabinet Officer for Regional Development and Security. So this is my assignment, ihatag ni Presidente, on top of my assignment sa Presidential Communications Operations Office. Munang magpasalamat ko ninyo because kung wala mo, imposible nga maibawaan sa katawhan kung unsay mga accomplishments ni Presidente Duterte. That's why, in the latest SWS survey, ang trust rating kay Presidente was 85%. Sa Pulse Asia, 80%. 80% of adult Filipinos. In the history of president in the Philippines, this president has garnered the highest trust rating and the highest satisfaction rating on his or her 4th year in office. And this means that we have a very vibrant and very objective media industry in our country. And I thank you for reporting what is just and what is right. Gusto na ako pasalamatan sila Vinci Beltran, si Pia Morato, because they have been very assertive in going around the country promoting the Youth for Truth organization and the campaign Dismiss Disinformation, precisely to fight fake news.
Tayo mga kabataan, sa atin talaga magagaling kung mga fresh ideas kung paano natin kakaharapin yung mga challenges. That's why along with this responsibility to make sure that we are airing what is fair and what is true.
may nababanggit na pwedeng information na hindi tama. Diba? But it is our duty to correct it right away. That is an example of misinformation. However, it does not become disinformation when we correct it. Pag hinahayaan natin ang information to stay false, that is disinformation.
The Justice Department has issued a subpoena to respondents in a case filed by the PNP CIDG on behalf of a mother whose minor daughter allegedly went missing after being recruited by a supposed Communist Front organization. Summoned to appear before the DOJ were members of the Anakbayan Moraita Far Eastern University chapter, whom complainant Relisa Lucena said recruited her daughter Alicia Jasper when she was still a 17-year-old senior high school student. Also summoned were former Bayan Muna Representative Nery Colmenares, Kabataan Party Representative Sara Ilago, Anakbayan spokesperson Alex Danday, and former Akbayan Party Representative Tom Villarin. They were charged with the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003, kidnapping, the laws on and special protection of children in armed conflicts, and laws prohibiting child abuse. The Philippine National Police says there is a need for a tight watch on Pogo and any other foreign business facilities as part of their security protocol. PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde says this is to allay fears of espionage. Albayalde was reacting to Defense Chief Delfin Lorenzana's statement expressing concern over Pogos run by Chinese nationals near military camps and facilities, saying that these Chinese workers could easily shift to spying. Albayalde said this is the prevailing concept not only among Chinese but also among foreign businessmen of various nationalities. He said foreign investors often consider constructing their own facilities near the police stations, for instance, for their own security purposes. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo earlier said President Duterte is not worried about the presence of Pogos near military camps because the Philippines has its own intelligence gathering capabilities and that Chinese workers could still spy on the military even if they were placed away from their bases. President Duterte is planning to create a commission for the LGBTQ+ community pending the approval of the Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity and Expression Equality Bill. Senator Bongo said the possibility of creating an LGBTQ+ commission through an executive order was among the topics discussed in the president's meeting with key LGBTQI+ advocates on Monday. Go noted that the president committed to support the SOGI bill and push both houses of Congress for its passage. Go also said the government, together with LGBTQI+ groups, plans to organize a national convention where advocates from different regions will be represented. The convention will serve as a venue for the LGBTQI+ community to raise their concerns and come up with proposals to promote and protect their welfare. In our business news, AirAsia Philippines is eyeing measures to boost the carrier services here and between the Philippines and China. Newly appointed CEO Ricardo Isla said a new A320 aircraft would arrive in December, and he plans the routes to be flexible with several local and international destinations. Isla also says they are looking at launching new China routes early next year. AirAsia Philippines launched routes between Calibo, Aklan, and 3 Chinese destinations, namely Macau, Kunming, and Chengdu, early this year. In Pampanga, the Metro Clark Advisory Council is asking airline companies to mount flights between Clark Freeport and General Santos City. The MCAC underscored the importance of connectivity of Clark Airport to major points of tourism and commerce in the Philippines. In September last year, Clark Development Corporation President and CEO Noel Manangkil and General Santos City Mayor Ronel Rivera signed a declaration of joint intent to strengthen linkages between Gensan and this freeport. Meanwhile, the Mindanao Development Authority expects more foreign investors to open up businesses in Davao City once President Duterte lifts martial law there. Minda says This will allay fears of investors as they are no longer under military control. It also cited the high insurance premiums expected to be paid by American companies in areas under the martial law. Mayor Sara Duterte has appealed for the lifting of martial law, citing the improved peace and order situation in the city. A town in Leyte asks for the military's help to drive away fleeing NPA rebels. Meanwhile, a local official in Antique urges school officials to monitor student activities that may lead to recruitment to the NPA. More on these and other news from the provinces from Gigi Arcilia Agtay.
The local government of Hilongos Leyte has asked the Philippine Army to establish a camp in the upland San Antonio village and weed out communist terrorists attempting to regain control of their former strongholds. Officials tagged San Antonio as a place for rest and recreation of the new People's Army. They also noted sightings of armed rebels in the villages of San Antonio, Cacao, Utanan, and Marangog. In Antique, Vice Governor Edgar Denosta urged school officials and teachers to monitor the activities of their students to prevent them from being recruited into the new People's Army. The Vice Governor said the NPA would not be able to influence the students if they know that the schools are aware of their activities. Denosta added that out-of-school youth in the barangays should also be provided with livelihood programs because they are most vulnerable for recruitment. In Pangasinan, police and military troops are still at the minor Basilica of Our Lady of Rosary of Manaoag, despite the return to normal alert status. Police officials asked the public visiting the church not to be afraid of the security measures being implemented. Red alert was raised over the church last August 12 amid an alleged threat by Islamic terrorists against cities and churches in northern Luzon. The alert level status of the church was lowered to normal on August 13. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Gigi Arcilia Agtay.
Up next, the DOH reports a downtrend of dengue cases in Western Visayas. The local government of Marawi City calls for change as it celebrates the city's Charter Day anniversary. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Rehabilitation is established to tell the people that rehabilitation programs are given priority and serious attention by the government, carrying the tagline, "Rehabilitating the Nation Together." This program is designed not only to inform the people of the actual and honest efforts of the government in terms of rehabilitation, reintegration, and advocacy, but also to reach out to the grassroots and engage the people in the community to join the administration in this venture through our town hall sessions. We all know the saying, "The truth will set you free." This is true in rehabilitation. Rehabilitation speaks of real numbers, real stories, real solutions. It communicates truth to the people because the people deserve to know the truth. That is, illegal drugs is one of the biggest lies that plague our country today. We must bear in mind that illegal drugs is a tough opponent that is impossible to overcome if there is no cooperation. Our president cannot fight this alone. The government cannot win this alone. Fight against drugs is a fight of the Filipino people. After all, what we are really fighting for is a free, healthy, and secure nation for all. And if we can complete our mission today, remember that not a single effort shall be in vain. War against drugs is an investment for the future, for the children and the future generations.
Meanwhile, more provinces are still on alert against the deadly mosquito-borne disease. In Cagayan de Oro, a citywide cleanup drive has been initiated on Tuesday to combat the growing cases of dengue. The city has so far recorded 1,900 dengue cases this year compared to the 800 cases in the same period in 2018. Meanwhile, dengue cases in Western Visayas are on the decline but remain above the epidemic threshold. The local health department notes the decline on dengue cases by 5% in July. This is attributed to the vigilance of the public to seek early consultation for dengue signs and symptoms, as well as preventive measures by health officials and local government units. In Samar, residents are urged to conduct regular cleanup every Saturday until September to curb rising dengue cases. The province allocated 15 million peso calamity fund for the purchase of fogging machines, dengue rapid test kits, IV fluids, and medicines. In Zamboanga, the City Health Office on Tuesday ordered local officials of the top dengue-affected villages to continue the heightened monitoring of the various efforts to contain the deadly mosquito-borne disease. This after local authorities found that the larvae of the dengue-carrying mosquito were present in stagnant waters in the affected barangays such as Talon-Talon, Calarian, Tugbungan, Tumaga, Pasonanca, Tetuan, Santa Maria, San Roque, Ayala, Giwan, and Putik. Some 4,500 cases of dengue with 26 deaths has been recorded this year. An alliance of patients' organizations on Tuesday called on the government to lift the ban on dengue vaccines to give patients access to medicines and prevent the further spread of the disease. In a statement, the Philippine Alliance of Patients Organizations, or PAPO, said they want proper information from experts to be able to make informed decisions on obtaining dengue vaccines. PAPO President Gerly Lorenzo said patients should be allowed the choice of getting immunized, adding that some patients have gone abroad just to get dengue vaccines. Early this year, the Food and Drug Administration permanently revoked the certificates of product registration issued to Dengvaxia. The PAPO also urged the public not to politicize the dengue vaccine issue. The DOH says about 14,000 new dengue cases with 46 deaths were reported from July 20 to August 3. In our foreign news, a UN official on Tuesday called for restraint and genuine dialogue to avoid major conflict in the Middle East. UN Chief Cabinet Maria Luisa Viori notes before a Security Council meeting the series of incidents in the Strait of Hormuz near the Persian Gulf, which have raised tensions to dangerous levels. She also highlighted concerns over Iran's nuclear program, the ongoing hostilities in northwest Syria, and the desperate need for humanitarian aid in Yemen. She also pushed for a just solution acceptable to all sides of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the longest-standing issue on the UN peace and security agenda. Viori said keeping the channels of communications open needs to be the UN's first priority, followed by confidence-building measures to move parties away from confrontation toward dialogue. Phil-Am rapper Alan Pineda Lindo, popularly known as Apple the App, formally signed on Tuesday his pledge of support for the Philippines' hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games this year. Apple signed his pledge of support in front of the media at the House of Representatives. Apple said he and his popular group Black Eyed Peas will perform during the opening and closing ceremonies of the SEA Games at the Philippine Arena in Bulacan and New Clark City Sports Complex in Tarlac. The popular Phil-Am singer said he is also ready and available to participate in the torch relay during the opening rites. Apple said that as a Filipino artist, he is honored to showcase his talent and be part of this momentous event. He urged the Filipino athletes to give their best against their counterparts. As Marawi City celebrates its 79th Charter Day, the local government calls on its residents to pursue change not only as the city undergoes rehabilitation, but also within themselves. More on this from Sweet Lukman.
Marawi City commemorated its 79th Charter Day anniversary on Monday, August 19, with a grand parade and cultural performances. Speaking to the residents, Mayor Mahul Gandamra enjoined them to start change within themselves for the betterment of Marawi.
Napang umahon tayo sa lubusan sa nangyari sa atin, kailangan po natin ng pagbabago at ang pagbabago po ay manggagaling sa ating sarili.
Gandamra also thanked the different government agencies and humanitarian organizations that have been providing assistance and support to the residents since the ISIS-inspired group laid siege to the city. The mayor also thanked the residents for their resiliency and determination.
I would like to thank each and every Marawi citizen and everyone who believes in Marawi for caring, for striving, for doing what is good for the city, and for being strong and resilient, for their courage and determination that someday life will get better.
The different city offices decorated their respective places and displayed various delicacies to showcase the vibrant culture of Maranao. A sports fest was also conducted to highlight camaraderie and unity among the residents. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Let's check out the weather outlook for the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. A DepEd official confirms reports that the New People's Army is recruiting students in northern Mindanao. The PNP cites the need to tighten its watch on foreign companies setting up near local vital facilities. The DOH reports a downtrend of dengue cases in Western Visayas, and the local government of Marawi City calls for change as it celebrates the city's Charter Day anniversary. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. Check out these and other stories. Check PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government, how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all our social media platforms and websites. Before we end, we'd like to greet Communications Secretary Martin Andanar a happy birthday. The PNA newscast, which started airing October 2017, is a brainchild of Secretary Andanar as part of efforts to introduce reforms in the state-run media and provide a new platform to reach Filipinos all over the world. Let's watch President Duterte's message to Secretary Andanar.
I would like to greet Secretary Martin Andanar of the Presidential Communications Office. A very happy birthday. I am truly grateful for your support and your contribution to my administration. I wish you all the best and may you live for 1,000 years.
And that's your daily dose of latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Rom Dulfo. Good day.